This video is supported by Rocket Railways for all your model railway needs. Please check the link in the description below. This here is the final position as to where this signal box is going to go. And I have got myself into a little bit of a pickle with regards to the steps. In my head, I had it that the steps would either come out towards the road or down towards the track. But in both instances, a signalman will either get run over by a vehicle driving past or by a train trundling through. So what does that mean for the build? Well, let's go over to the workbench and we'll take a look. What I'm going to do is still build the steps as in the way that I would have been doing, but what I will do then afterwards is to make those modifications. So if anybody is following the build and still wants to build their steps either coming straight out from the box or straight down to the ground, they can do so. In all honesty, it maybe works out for the best. This is going to add a little bit of an extra effect to the steps and make it a little bit more interesting. So what do we need? First of all, we're basically working with plain Plasticard for the majority of this part of the build. And what we need first of all is a small square cutout, and that there square is 13mm in each direction, and that is basically going to be your platform that will come out from the door. Okay, so with that then we are going to take some 2mm Plasticard, sorry, a 2mm strip of Plasticard, and we're going to glue that to the underneath of it. Now what I want to do is to try and glue it just slightly in from the edge so that there's an overlap, except on one end, and on one end we want to glue it right to the very edge. And the reason for that will be is the one right to the very edge will be the one that will go up against the wall, and it will just give a little bit more surface area to be glued to the wall rather than relying on this little 1/2mm strip of Plasticard for that. So I will cut these out. Oh, actually, before I do, what we want to do as well is to mark out probably approximately sort of 1.5mm marks across that, and then we're going to scribe that wood the same as what we would have done with the door down below, and it will just help create an effect that this platform has been made of wood. So I'll do that first and then I'll glue these into place. We will look at our stanchions that are coming down from the platform. Now for that we are going to take a 3mm strip of Plasticard, and we need 2 of these, and we're going to overlay both strips. Now if you have thicker Plasticard, that's all well and good, just use it, but I don't currently have anything in stock, so I'm going to have to use 2 strips and put them together. With our 3mm strips of Plasticard cured now, we can go ahead and make the cuts necessary to make our stanchions. to do that, it does help to have a sheet of paper with just a rough drawing of the building basically. This bit up here is the platform, and this is ground level, and the little mark here is where I think I want the stairs to drop down to. So what we want to do first with our Plasticard is to take off the corner of that, almost sort of at a 45 degree angle, and if we put that up against the top like so, with the bottom piece at the bottom edge of your platform, you will see the top end protrudes over. So take your knife and cut it flat. Now once the top bit is cut, then you can line up the bottom of your support, and then we'll cut across. And then, as we did with the top, just take off the sharp edge to give us a flat base on which the steps will land on. That gives us one of our supports. And then repeat that process for the other side. And then once it's done, we can glue them into place. Now, it's at this stage that we need to decide as to which way the steps are going to come down from the signal box. You may wish them to come down straight or down the side of the wall. In my case, I'm coming down this way, so I need to ensure that these supports get glued on the left hand side of the platform. And it's just going to be a little bit of the contact adhesive, and we'll add that in, and what I'm looking to do is to place it just inside the edge. But once you have them in place and you feel that they're sitting fairly securely, just prop them up against something and let them go off for a good couple of hours, if not longer. I'm going to do these overnight and come back to them tomorrow, and by that stage they'll be fully ready for the next stage, which is adding the steps. With the diagonal supports now glued and set, it's time to install the steps to it. Okay, so if we set that up on our mineral wagon, what we're looking to do now is to measure the gap between the left and the right hand side. In my case, it's 10 millimeters. And we're going to take any piece of 2mm plastic rod, or maybe sort of glue a couple of lollipop sticks, anything like that sort of thing there, because what it's going to do is we'll set that in just there, and then with a 2mm strip of Plasticard I can then cut a 10mm section as so, and with that there we are going to glue each end and lay it in onto our steps. So with our glue, we'll add a blob on each side, and we'll put it into place. And we need to let that go off a little bit before we work on the next one. But if you had another piece of 2mm something or other, you could lay it on there and at least make a start with the next one. Okay, that's the second one on, and it's by no means easy. This is very, very fiddly, and it does take time and patience, but just work at it slowly and you will get there with it. The treads for the steps are now fitted and the glue has gone off, and it's at this point here where I will depart from the normal way of building these steps to allow me to bring it down the side of the wall, across and back down again. And what I've done is similar to the top platform, I have made another one to sit about the halfway mark down here, and this has been built in exactly the same way, albeit that it is much longer. In this case I think it's about 14 millimeters long. It's basically the measurement, the width of your steps going down doubled with an additional millimeter out one side to allow for a little bit of an extension out the one end, you know, same as what we have up here on the right hand side. It's also had 4 legs glued to it. These are just 2mm square rod that has been put into place there. I will add an additional bracing to make them look a little bit more robust, but with that in place I am then able to work out at what point I want to cut these steps here, and I've basically just marked a line on the wall here where the platform sits, and then I can put my ladders up against it and mark on the ladder the cutting point. So with that mark I will cut just right above the tread there, and on the other side. I really don't want to mess this up because these steps are an absolute devil to make, and the thought of having to make them again is not something that appeals to me too much. Okay, well, there's no going back now. So what I will do as well is I will just straighten the front edge of these to take out the angle, or the sharp angle on the corner. And now what we should be left with is that will glue on to that platform there and sit there, and then this other one will glue on to the side here and sit there, and we've got a nice step down. With the staircases now in place, we get to the final stage of this part of the build, which is the handrails. So let's get started. What we would need for this are some uprights to start with. Now I have all my uprights already cut out, and I am using the 1mm square rod. What we're looking to do is add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight pieces like this, and these are 13mm in height. And what I've done when I've cut it is on the top side of it I've taken a piece of sandpaper and just sort of lightly rounded the tops a little bit just to soften the edges. So we have 7 of those, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 angular cut pieces like this here, and these from tip to tip are 11mm in length. Now the angle in these is slightly shallower than 45 degrees, probably about the 50 degree mark, and that's just to ensure that they sit vertical when placed on my steps. And now it's just a matter of gluing them all into position. What I have just recently bought a bottle of is plastic Weld, and this stuff really is quite remarkable. It's a liquid glue which you apply with a paintbrush and literally just rub into the edge of the joint that you're working on, and capillary action takes the glue in underneath, and it's glued within seconds, as instant almost as super glue would be. Let's start here with the plastic Weld. All you're doing is brushing it in at the base of it, and that should catch almost immediately, as it does there, and then you can just alter the position of it slightly if necessary. Now incidentally, just before I go any further, you will also notice that I have added supports in underneath on the these 2mm square rods that I've done, and again this is just using the 1mm square rod, slight angle on the edges, and I have one on the inside and then another one been placed over the top on the outside, and that has been done all the way around. Now that is no mean feat, trying to get those on, but they're there and we're almost ready to go. Now I did say where I was going to position them. I took the one out of the centre here. I felt that there was too many, it was far too close and cramped looking, so I think one will be enough. And I also forgot about the inside edge of this lower part of the step, so there's been two put on there, and again I've taken out the centre one on each of the steps because again I think they're too much. So what is left to do is to put in the handrails themselves. Now in terms of the angled ones, they will rest on top of the angled supports, and what they will do is go like that and up and meet on the side of the upright post, so the upright ones will sit a little higher, and then on the upright, the straight edge ones, they will go in between these posts. So I think first of all we'll put in the sloping ones, and then we will know the height to be able to put in the straight ones afterwards. So it's very much just a case of measuring what needs to go in. So these ones here are measuring 25, 26, 27 millimeters. So if I cut 27 millimeters on this here, and we also need the angle of this one, and 20, there we go there. Look at that there, my hand is shaking all over the shop here. I can't show that much better than what it is there, but that's the general idea of it. There we are, that's one. Okay, I think that's it done. Now obviously this entire structure needs to be primed and painted, but I think we will leave that until the next and final episode of the build. But I'm really quite happy with how that is looking right now. That will be quite a feature of the box whenever it's complete. So there we are. Look, I know it is incredibly fiddly, all of this work, and if you are going to try it and certainly go down the route of the more complicated stairs, just take your time. You will get there in the end. Just be patient. Okay, so in the final episode we will look at pulling together the final details. We will look at painting the roof, the steps here, and we'll add a couple of final features such as the downspouts and the door handles. Thank you very much again for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you also to those who comment on my videos. I really enjoy reading them all and replying to them. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so by clicking that button below, and click the notification bell so that you can be made aware of future videos that are coming out from this channel. Until the next time guys, I'll chat to you soon. Bye.